On a hot summer's day, there's a couple of ways to approach a day's fishing. Number one, try and catch them off the surface. Now, if it's anything like it was this morning, it was freezing. So trying to get them going on the top, I have been trying, but I haven't been succeeding. All I've done really is feed the ducks. But I do know, because it was warm yesterday and it is getting warmer today, that the carp in this lake are going to be all around the margins. And with a pair of Polaroids on and a keen eye, I spotted under this bush over to the left here that the water was a little bit more coloured than it was when I arrived. And I figured that that was carp, and sure enough, a couple of minutes later, my little simple method feeder rig has got a nice little common on the end. And I'm sure it won't be the only fish of the day. It might not be the only fish out the margins today. And if we're lucky, we'll get these lovely fish going off the top later on as well. But it's a really good tip that. When you first arrive, just get your rod sorted out quickly. Put it in the margins where you've seen some activity. And I'm sure before long, you'll be into a very nice fish. Well, this fish didn't really do a lot to start with. Woke up now. The ducks come over to eat some more floaters. He's had a right breakfast this morning. It's quite good, this lake, for spotting if they're feeding in the side. You can see it as I'm playing the fish here. It's just turning over the sort of clay sand mixed bottom. And it just sort of puffs it up, and the colour's completely different. It's sort of like someone's put milk in the tea almost. And the rig I've used is so simple. I mean, it's a method feeder, inline flatbed method feeder, as you would use on a commercial carp fishery, feeder fishing. Got one of the new banded hair rigs. I really like that for this style of fishing. I can swap between a pellet or a little bandam wafter, or little boilies and stuff. Really simple without changing the rig. And because the line on the rig is a bit heavier than you get from the match brands, and the hook's a little bit stronger than you get from the match brands, when you hook a big tiger like this one on a heavier rod, you're not struggling too much. I'm using it's a sample actually of a 10-foot all-rounder. It'll be out later in the year. And when you're fishing a little lake like this, carp fishing or surface fishing or method feeder fishing, just the job. There we go, a quick one out the margin. It's a great tip when you come to the lake. Get a sleeper rod out in the margins. If you see a bit of activity, drop a method feeder or a PVA bag there, and you're away. And that sleeper rod, if you're allowed to use 2 rods on a venue, could serve you well all day. If you're only allowed 1 rod, then definitely use it as a sleeper rod. Have a little kip in your comfy Korum chair, and when the alarm goes off, catch beauties like this. Happy days. So my favourite bait when I come out for a day like this, I want something I can mix up really quick and it's actually going to stay on the method feeder for quite a long time. Now, a lot of the method feeder mixes that are available in shops are designed for match anglers. They're designed to be cast a long way, they'll grip the feeder very well, but they're designed for anglers who are in and out and in and out and in and out a little bit more. There aren't really enough fish in this lake for me to fish like that. It's going to be a case of laying a trap in the margin and then waiting for the fish to find it. And I don't want a mix that's just going to blow away every time a fish comes near it. I want something that's going to stay on the feeder so they can find my hook bait pretty quickly. If you haven't used Super Carp Method Mix before, firstly, where have you been for the last 15 or 16 years? It's one of Sonu Bait's absolute bangers. It's been out for a long time and the mix hasn't really changed. It's crushed pellets, it's cereals and seeds, it's very sticky and it's extremely easy to mix. You don't need to riddle it, you don't need to mess around, just wallop a little bit of water in it, bang it on the feeder, go and catch a load of carp. Well, I was just getting a bit of solar power on the old sunroof, and the rod's rattled off out the margin once again. Not quite the same area, I moved it a little bit further down the shelf. It looks like we've got ourselves another angry common. Now, since you saw me last, I have been baiting up a bit more with the floaters, and we have got them taken. So I'm hopeful of a bite off the top. I just feed in baits with the surface feeder with no hook link, just to gain their trust a little bit, really. And once they realise that that dinner bell is bringing them a lovely meal, we should hopefully be able to catch one with a hook link attached. But until then, we'll carry on giving them a bit of method mix to eat out the margin. Absolute torpedo. Tore my arm off. Mint. Magic in the margins with a method feeder. At Korum, we've got this sort of like internal mantra when we're working on fishing tackle, when we're doing product development. It's fishing made easy. And we don't put it on the packaging anymore, but we used to. But it's a really good way of approaching sort of product categories and the sort of style of the product that we do, because, you know, we sponsor some brilliant specimen anglers, and I'm sure lots of you watching would count yourself in that bracket as well. But if you're just coming for a day's fishing to enjoy yourself, it's just magic being able to grab quick stop hair rigs, banded hair rigs, grappler hair rigs, all tied in sort of 10 pound, 8 pound line, nice and strong for bigger fish. I can take these if I'm going tench fishing and just stick them straight on a heavy rig. Or if I'm fishing like this, fishing a grub feeder, method feeder, anything like that, it's just ready to go in the packet, barbed and barbless. The hairs are the right length, you know, it's just really nice, and they're tied so well. Let me tell you, if I sat and tied a load of rigs, they wouldn't look like this. I reckon our tying team have just got better and better and better. The components are certainly better, the hooks are brilliant. The quick stops are great, they don't snap, they go in the bait every time. The band we use is the type of band that won't rot over time, it won't rot when you use it with an oily bait. Just brilliant, and today, as you've already seen, perfectly strong enough for decent sized fish, regardless of the rod you're using. Now, some of you will remember that Korum's sister brand, Avid Carp, did a product that looked just like this, only it was a lot bigger. It was called a surface spod, and it was mainly just used for baiting up with floaters. You put your floaters in the bottom, the buoyant ball rises to the top, all the floaters come out, and you reel it in. Well, a couple of years ago, I was fishing a lake near to my home, and because every time you used a spom to bait up, by the time you'd reeled in, they'd eaten all the baits. Every time you cast it out, you'd reel in and they'd eaten all the baits. So I thought, I wonder what I could use so I could still have fish feed in while my hook bait's out there. And I just experimented. I used the Avid Surface Spod as a controller float, and it was ridiculous. If you're on a venue with a lot of carp, it is some of the most fun you can have surface fishing. Well, as time wore on, I kept thinking about it. So we devised a much smaller version, makes a much quieter noise when it lands, but it essentially works exactly the same. It's got an EVA ball in it, a little weight in the bottom. You load it up with floaters like so, and when it hits the water, this ball will rise to the top and all the floaters will come out. Now, what I'm doing here to try and earn the fish's trust is using this as a little tiny surface spod. Get them used to the noise, get them used to eating the floaters, and then once they get the confidence up, I'll put a hook link on. Now, it may be that today's not the day for surface fishing. It is warm, but it's not quite warm enough. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to try, because I've still got my trusty sleeper rod, whatever happens. But while I'm waiting for that to rattle off, keeping myself very active. So the wind switched on me, which has given me an opportunity, because before I was putting bait in and the fish are just moving further and further away from me. I can't move, there's two guys fishing down there. But now the wind's sort of more this way. It's pushed a few fish up to the island, which means I can finally present a bait to a fish that's feeding on the surface. I mean, they're not properly having it, but I think when the wind drops and they can see where all the baits are, and you know, my surface controller's been out there for a while, I can just see one just coming in and nailing the up bait. I mean, it's worth a go. The great thing about still having the sleeper rod down here is I can do a bit of this and I'm not really affecting my day's fishing. I'm sort of hunting out a bonus fish. There's some good ones on the surface, so it'd be nice to get one. But if not, I'm going to scare them down into this margin where I've got a method feeder waiting. Can't believe it. We've been trying all morning to get these fish feeding off the top, and finally they did. And stubbornly, I've carried on trying to catch them with the old surface float, but really, this doesn't seem like there's actually enough carp in here for that to be the one. Need a bit more higher stock venue, but I persevered. And eventually, they were really happy feeding around the float. You'll see it on the footage. And the bite was awesome. It was like 3 fish all spooked off in different directions. Great. I've played him in, happy as Larry, get him in close, just start thinking, oh, I'll go and grab the net, and up pulled. What a wally. Now, I don't mind. I have caught a few on this short session. It's been great. My sleeper rod here still might rip off when I'm packing up, but I've got work to do. Got more products to work on for you lot, so make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.